What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We've got a good one today. We're going back to Le Coach, which you probably remember from Jamie when we done a video it was 2 weeks out. I think we done a pool video. This is basically where I train full time. We're going to be introducing a client of mine, Jake, who is currently sat at 8 weeks out from his first showing of the year in UK DFBA. Jake's a classic bodybuilder. Well, we've never done classic bodybuilding before. He previously was a men's physique athlete. We've had about a year together. We had a decent off-season phase, and obviously this is our first show season together. So we're going to be training push. I think it's the first push session. We haven't done a push session yet, have we, Jake? Have we filmed a push session yet?
We have.
We haven't. So it's normally legs. So we're going to train push today. First push session of the series. Training with Jake, and it's going to be a good one. We're going to have a little look over him, see where he's at. Obviously, Jake actually trains at Le Coach as well, so I get to see him quite frequently. I usually see him about once a week, so good opportunity to have a look over him today, have a little chat, see how he's doing, and go from there.
Good start.
Caramel white chocolate from Cardiff Sports Nutrition. Very nice.
What is it?
It's very good.
Banging.
Yeah, it's banging, yeah. It's very good. It's not my favourite, I'll be honest. I do like the Complete Strength. That's my favourite cream of rice. Complete Strength is just mixes nice and just all the flavours are banging, but banging. But this one's very good. It's just one I'm using up, to be honest with you. What's your favourite cream of rice?
Probably a Complete Strength. Biscuit.
Yeah,
It's just like
Complete Strength is the best
everything.
mixability, but this is also very good as well. So we're just going to get a pre-meal. I think Jake's getting some cream of rice as well, and then we're going to head down there. Should we talk about how to make cream of rice? Because I feel it's a hot topic. Everyone has their own way of doing things in terms of the making of cream of rice, but I feel as though there's one way which really, gives you a nice smooth finish and a nice creamy texture. So you need time on your hands for this. Now, when I used to do PT and be bouncing from client to client, I didn't have the time. I wasn't in the luxurious position to be able to have the time to be able to do this. But if you do have the time on your hands, the best way. So firstly, you want to ensure that you're making with plenty of water. That's just going to volumize the cream of rice. Obviously, if you're deep into the off-season phase, you may want to lean towards slightly less water. Being in a dieting phase, which I currently am, the world's longest dieting phase, you want to make it nice and voluminous. So decent amount of water in the cream of rice. That's 100 grams of cream of rice.
5 to 1 is the best ratio usually.
5 to 1, is it?
5 lots of water.
Okay.
Cream of rice.
I mean, I'll just do it to eye, to be honest with you, just by eye. Whisk. Some people use a spoon or a fork. A whisk, so you can get it nice and smooth. And the key is to get it smooth before we actually start the process of obviously heating the ingredients up. Then we're going to put it on Then we're going to put it on the hob.
Does it have to be the back right hob?
It has to be specifically the back right or the front left. Either of those two. Any of those and you've fucked it completely. So we put it on the back right hob, and as you can see, we've got it on a low to moderate heat. Now, if we have that heat too high, what we're going to find is that the edge of the cream of rice is going to start to stick to the edge of the pan. So we want to make sure that we keep it on a nice controlled heat so we can always stay in control. Now, something that we want to do in between the process of actually whisking the cream of rice is make sure that we're pulling it away from the edge of the pan so we don't get any sort of sticky spots or any sticky spots, so we don't get any burnt spots around the edge. So as we're whisking, in between the whisking, we're also utilising the spatula to then actually scrape away from the edge, just to make sure that we're keeping the whole mixture mixed. Now, as you can see, this requires the individual to be able to actually stand over the mixture and consistently mix. So this is going to require obviously time and patience. As you can see, as we're starting to get to a slightly thicker consistency, I'm really aggressively whisking to ensure that I'm not missing any of the mixture here. And then this is sort of around the stage where I then look to drop the whisk and introduce the spatula.
Whisk drop.
and then reduce it to a very low heat, or I'll even sometimes turn the hob off and just utilize the leftover heat from the hob to then thicken the remain. And what we also want to consider is that we actually want to take it off the heat and stop mixing once we're just before the consistency, because once we actually leave the pan and into the bowl, because that mixture's still very hot, it's actually going to continue to cook for a little bit longer. So I'm taking it out around here because I like quite a sloppy mix. And there we go. We have the perfect consistency of cream of rice. Green and blacks, velvet edition, salted caramel. So we have 2 squares, neatly placed.
You've got to break them up into little chunks.
Oh no, I just like to place them like that, and then they just sort of melt. And then as you're consuming, it just all melts and you get some of the cream of rice and then some of the chocolate, and it's all good. And then you've got the frozen fruit of choice. Have you got blueberries on yours?
Cherries.
Show them your one.
Dark sweet cherries.
That's Jake's pre-made one, which is eaten cold,
I made that myself.
which I just don't get. Like, if you're eating cream of rice cold, I've got some clients who do that as well. It's like,
You've not tried it?
I've not actually tried it, to be fair, so I probably shouldn't knock it. Maybe I'll try a spoon of yours. And then the blueberries is the frozen fruit of choice for today. And we've got, 54 grams. It's supposed to be 50 grams. So what do we all think? We've got my cream of rice. Jake's cream of rice. Jake's got about double the amount. How much is in there? 120?
120 grams.
So mine's 100 grams. That's 120. Why does that look so much more?
Because I've cooked it in the microwave with the
Fluff it up more.
procedure.
Ah, fair enough.
Vegan.
Yeah. There's no real reason behind the vegan blend other than Kirsty gets it all for free. She's got, mate, come and have a look in here at this covers. These nuts in it. I literally tell her what to order. I'm like, tell her we need more of this. Tell her we need more pump. I can't tell her, right? You fucking tell her what we need. So guys, we are at the gym. You can hear Nathaniel screaming in the background. This is Jake. Welcome Jake to the channel. This is the first time you guys have seen Jake. Jake's my classic physique competitor. Never done classic before, have you, mate?
No.
So it was men's physique first time round?
Yeah, about 6 years ago now.
6 years ago.
Yeah.
6 years ago, men's physique. Was that the only show you've done? Just that one? Or?
I've done a men's fitness model before that.
That's it.
Yeah, and then UK UP at Body Power.
Gotcha.
6 years ago, men's physique.
Yeah, that's it. And then obviously the men's physique. Fucking
Yeah.
size of that be.
Massive.
And then it's been just like a little bit of an interim period for yourself, really, hasn't it?
Yeah,
just sort of in a bit of a growth phase.
Yeah.
know-
I spent the first few years just going off and didn't enjoy the competing side too much, so I sort of went away for a little bit and lived life and that. And then obviously you start seeing people, everyone else start off-season prep, and it sort of relights the fire. And then obviously within that time period, sort of training legs a lot more and everything in general. I was obviously managed to grow and be somewhere near the classic mark.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think there's certainly a little bit of a time period after your first sort of competitive season of sort of still obviously training and taking everything very seriously, but I think it's only really been the last couple of years where you've kind of decided, actually I want to get back into the competitive scene, isn't it?
Yeah.
So obviously when Jake jumped on board with myself, we've been working together about a year now, haven't we, mate?
Just coming up to a year.
Coming up to a year.
Yeah.
Obviously majority of that time frame we've had obviously in the off season.
Yeah.
We very quickly highlighted what areas of Jake that we wanted to develop. You'll see later on very, very nice balance to the physique, but there were a few areas that we just needed to really capitalise on. So, the kind of 10 or so months of gaining that we've had leading up into this prep have been very much focused on bringing up your rear shots. We've done that with a lot of hip hinging, a lot of kind of big back movements. We've biased a lot of our volume and frequency towards that, and he's responded really well. We've had a lot of growth in that time frame, haven't we? We put some comparison pictures up not too long ago, and the growth's been pretty substantial.
Yeah,
so
it's been the most productive sort of off season that I've sort of had. I've run an sort of off season where just push and pull sort of thing, And yeah, that's definitely the most progress I've made. It's really been just spot on for me, really, like programming and that.
And it's just making sure that, you know, we're reflecting, and this is the same for everyone, just reflecting, you know, training volume, frequency, you know, exercise selection with exactly what that athlete needs, and just making sure that's tailored personally towards them. Obviously with Jake, it's really helpful that we both train at the coach, so I'm able to overlook him a lot of the time. If there's anything I need to overlook with training and things like that, that's obviously been a massive helpful tool. But yeah, it's been a really productive phase. This is one prep that I've been very much looking forward to. You know, we'll have a little look over him later after the session. We got pushed today, so we're going to do Jake's session. Obviously, Jake's just shy of 6 weeks out, so his training is obviously a lot more important than mine right now. So we're going to go through his session, we're going to get it in, and then we're going to have a little bit of posing at the end. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We'll give you a bit more of a rundown as we go, but I hope you enjoy the session. You can zoom in on it. Yeah. I feel like I need to explain to the YouTube what's going on. So basically, it was my fault I said the wrong thing. Like, I shouldn't have said the wrong thing, but you know, she kicked off, Kirsty hit me, and now I've got a red eye. No, so basically, last night I got something in my eye, and it was like 11 PM and I couldn't sleep. So I got up and I was trying to get it out for like an hour, getting really pissed off with it, and then ended up going to sleep. Woke up this morning, and I've like looked in it, spent like another hour. Kirsty was in there trying to, and I don't actually think there's anything in there, but I think because I've been rubbing it around so much, it's now, I mean, that looks really bad, doesn't it? I look like something of The Walking Dead. And I was like, fuck's sake, I'm filming today as well, so you guys got to put up with the gammy eye. It's a really good fly machine because you get a little bit of a drop off in that short range where you're always going to be a little bit weaker, so it just lines up really nice. A lot of the time fly machines, as you get into that short range, it just gets heavier and heavier, and what you'll see a lot of the time is instead of bringing the elbow across the midline to get that chest short, you'll see in that last bit, which is hard, you'll see more sort of that kind of protraction of the shoulders and bringing the hands together. And if we think about sort of where the chest inserts and origins, if we're trying to get that short, we want to actually bring that humerus across the midline as much as we can. So think about that when you're doing any sort of fly. Obviously, if you've got a movement which is mechanically sound like this, it makes it easier. But in any instance, when you're doing a fly, don't think so much about bringing these points together, but think more about what we're actually trying to get short. And think about focusing on bringing those elbows across the midline to contract the chest. Here we go, big rep. One more now, one more. Take this fucking rep, take this rep. Drive, squeeze. Lovely, mate, good set. Very, very strong. So breakdown on the session today, guys. We're starting with the Cybex fly. Fuck off, it's a Nautilus, isn't it? Well, I'll get Jake to cut that. We'll start off with a Nautilus fly. Very nice bit of kit. Top set back off on this. Then our first press is going to be a Smith machine reverse banded chest press. Huh? Cybex. Then we've got the, what's the next chest movement? Incline. Then we've got the incline Nautilus. Incline Nautilus pin loaded, which is phenomenal. And then we're moving on to delts with lane crucifix laterals. Legit. What's the other delt movement? Nautilus, the shoulder press? Yeah, shoulder press. Shoulder press, Nautilus shoulder press. Again, converges at the top. Very nice bit of kit. I'll say that about every bit of kit, don't I? Very nice bit of kit. Banging bit of kit. And then a little bit of tricep work. We've got rope. Dips and rope. Dips and then rope, and then calf raises, yeah? Yeah, calf raises. And that's the session. We're gonna go spot Charlie, young Charlie on his top set hack. Let's get it. Good, I want another, I want another, I want another. Let's go. Come on, 2 wins in 2, yeah? 2 wins in 2, come on. Second. Let's go, come on. Drive! Drive! Yeah! One more fucking. Yeah! Come on. Oh yeah. We're doing it again, come on. Drive! Keep it moving, keep it moving. Well done. Was that 9? I lost. Here we go, strong out the hole now. Drive, drive! One more rep, one more rep. Well done, mate, brilliant. Good set. Was that like 5 up? Editing coaching. It doesn't side. I want you to drink 8 litres and cut water 48 hours out and have a bottle of red or white. Ideally white wine, but red will do.
Red, yeah, that'll do it.
Do you know what I mean?
As long as it's wine.
Yeah, as long as it's alcohol. Just get pissed. Just get pissed the night before, you're fine. That'll dry you out. You might pass out on stage, but...
Pint of Stella.
Fucking hell.
That's it. Right, with me now. Yep, yours.
Oh yeah.
That's it.
Yes, again. Finish it, finish it, finish it. Good, mate, lovely. Nice. So what I'm doing when I'm spotting Jake there, if you notice on his last few reps, is actually spotting him under the elbows, as opposed to taking the bar away from him. You'll see a lot of people when they spot, essentially just take the bar. Now, I don't really want to do that because then he's then going to lose his ability to leverage that load. And he's going to end up, the force output through the chest is going to be less. So all I'm really doing is squeezing the elbows and just securing that joint a little bit more, giving him a little bit more stability through the elbows, but also just as he needs it, just giving him that ever so slight push from the elbows as opposed to the bar. So I'm still assisting him throughout that range of motion without actually taking that load away from him, because we want to keep that load present throughout the entire rep. We're just moving on to the Nautilus Nitro incline chest press, but we're just waiting for Charlie to remove his socks. Is that, what's the logic behind that? Just
take your socks off and...
Random ass place to put your socks.
There's no socks.
On the fucking chest press. There's no sock holder in this gym, for goodness sake. Cheers. I've currently got a little bit of a tightness in the posterior capsule of my glenohumeral joint, and it's something which it always comes and goes, but at the moment it's really bad, and I need to get in to see Gav to get it released. So what you'll see in my presses today is I'm not going quite as deep, because obviously in that kind of lengthened extremity of the chest, there's a lot of pressure around the joint, and it's just creating that very inflamed, tight, it just feels a bit angry. So you'll notice on my presses, I'm losing about 10-15% of the normal eccentric face that I would normally do.
You've been fed?
Huh?
Is that fed now?
Fed?
Feeder?
Feeder? Yeah, I've been fed. You taking the piss? You taking the piss, mate?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been fed.
Yep. There. Finish it. Squeeze. Good.
Yes, and again. Drive, 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 squeeze. Good. Well done. Lengthened. Yes. Pillow. Because optimal comfort is important. Now I'll tell you what it was, the perfect position on the bench, and you just have to like look up, so it just enables you to relax your head, so you can relax your neck and focus purely on delt contractions. So we've done our main chest work for the day. Now just moving on to the lying crucifix lat raise. So we're using the cuffs here, setting it up with the cable machine where you can basically adjust, you know, where you set the bar up, you know, relative to your individual biomechanics. So when you're doing this movement, if you do have the cable machine, we're fortunate enough here, we've got the Cybex Bravo, which Charlie's using now. And then Nathaniel's just got the Nautilus. Very, very similar setup here where you can basically, you know, adjust where you put the bars. So the good thing with this is basically we can just adjust it in order to get a nice little drop off in that short range. That's the advantage of using the cables as opposed to say doing like a dumbbell lateral raise, where as you're getting the delt short, where it's naturally going to be weaker, that load, because of that gravitational pull, is going to become heavier. So it's actually not the best movement. You know, obviously, you know, you're going to get some stimulation from it, but in order to, you know, line up mechanically the best you can, these little variations are going to make such a difference in terms of getting a decent contraction on your shoulders and not sort of utilising other muscle groups like the traps, things like that.
Good, all you.
Oh, this is a tune, this one. Is it? Hey? Oh, he's on the feet. So a little bit of a rundown on the season for Jake. This is going to be his first classic season. So obviously men's physique last time round. First time getting on stage in classic. The first show is going to be UK DFBA.
Yeah.
We've got UK DFBA, so Jake's natural. UK DFBA is his first show, and that's September the 4th. Then we've got a 2-week interim period between that and the PCA.
Yeah.
PCA Classic, and then we've got another 3 weeks, and then we're doing Two Bros Naturals, and that is the Big Man on September.
Yeah, Big Man Barbarian.
October the 8th.
October the 8th.
The Big Man Regional on October the 8th. So 3 regionals sort of in fairly close succession, and then obviously we'll have the respective finals, which is always the goal. So quite a congested show season.
We're hoping.
Quite a congested show season. But you know, I'm a big fan of, if you can, whilst in condition, at least doing a couple of shows. I mean, you know, especially when it's our first time dipping our feet into classic, you know, we want to kind of do a few different divisions and see how we fare. I think the overall goal, kind of the big one that you really wanted to do right from the off, was Two Bros, wasn't it?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, it's the big name, especially with them doing the natural qualifiers now.
Yeah,
it's a bit of a no-brainer, really.
Definitely. I think it's great that they've actually introduced that, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
it's become really popular as well.
Yeah, everyone wants to compete Two Bros, and obviously then being natural now and then doing that show, it just lines up perfectly.
Yeah, no, definitely. So yeah, we've got just under 6 weeks for the first one, which is the UK DFBA. We're in a great position, I would say, in terms of composition. One thing I was saying to Jake about earlier in his check-in was, you know, you're only as lean as your fattest body part, essentially, and Jake holds most of his fat deposits around his legs. Same as me, unfortunately. So you're just waiting for those quads to separate every morning, looking at your ass in the mirror, and that's just essentially where he holds the most of his body fat. So even though those are coming in slower, you know, we have to look at the overall picture. We have to look at how scale weight's coming down. We have to look at, obviously, you know, how those different areas are moving visually. So, you know, we're always looking at that fattest body part, essentially, and once that's in, you know, you're fully in all over. So that's kind of the slower part, which is coming in, but we've still got 6 weeks, we've still got plenty of time, and plenty of tools to utilise, to be honest. I mean, food's still in a relatively decent place as well.
We haven't really had to change too much. It's been pretty...
No, we haven't. I mean, to be honest, since we started prep, I think we've had like, what, 1 or 2 food drops?
Yeah, there was the initial sort of...
The initial drop from off-season to deficit.
And then since then, yeah, maybe one more.
Another one
drop. Slight one.
Still on 2,700?
Yeah, 2,700 training days and just about 2,000 on rest days. So
output's like 30 minutes, non-training days, 35 minutes. Obviously, Jake's a builder as well, a bricklayer, so his expenditure daily is quite high, and that's something massively you've got to consider with an athlete. You know, what are they doing on a day-to-day basis? So we've been in a position where we've been able to keep food higher, you know, as opposed to someone who's, you know, like an office worker or something like that. So that's also something to consider. But yeah, still plenty of tools to utilise, plenty of time to do so. We'll look to have a big few weeks ahead of us now, where we have a massive shift in body fat, and essentially, you know, get us into a nice position where ideally 1 to 2 weeks before the show, we can then just slowly start reducing that stress and peaking perfectly into the show. But yeah, things are just starting to get really exciting.
Perfect. Yeah, go on now. Go on then.
Good. And again. Yep. Big drive.
One more.
Yep, coming in. Let's go. Lovely.
Good.
That's mental, mate. Now that waist is really sucking in. That is fucking crazy. And so much fullness in the legs as well.
Yeah.
Like, the quad sweep is fucking nutty, mate. I don't think I've ever seen someone distribute fat like that. Like, your upper body's ready and your lower body's still.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? But what that means is, what that means is that's all that's left to come in. That'll just suck in so quickly.
On the check-ins like this, it's not really changing too much
Nah.
week to week.
Yeah, because it's nearly ready. Yeah. It's nearly ready. So that these, it's like I said, it's the same with me, mate. Like, my legs weren't fully in until like literally 3 weeks out, and I was panicking, and then all of a sudden it's just like they just suck in.
Yeah.
Because it's just how you distribute fat.
I think we've obviously trained the legs, spin bike every day as well with the cardio.
Yeah, they're inflamed as well. That will all drop. That will all drop.
Yeah.
But it can be quite panicky when obviously you're a bodybuilder and like the main area when I peeled is your legs. When it's the last area to come in. But they'll come in, mate. We've still got loads of time as well. And like I said, we've literally we only just had that latest food adjustment as well. And you've already shifted a kilo, so we'll just run that throughout the next few days. But we'll keep looking at you every couple of days now. I was just saying to Jake a minute ago, you know, it's about focusing on obviously the area in which you hold the most of your body fat. His is his legs, and sometimes as a bodybuilder, obviously one of the main focus areas is your legs, and being in that condition, it can throw you off a little bit mentally if that is the last area to come in. I'm very similar myself in that my legs are the last thing to come in, but it's about playing the patient game, not doing anything too drastic. You know, we've still got 6 weeks here, and we're in a really advantageous position where we really haven't pushed anything so far. I mean, Jake might beg to differ. He's had a few sloggy days, but in general, his food's still high, his cardio's still low, and that's a really good position to be in because we can now make little adjustments here to energy balance and get a big response, as opposed to having the athlete 6 weeks out, already on 90-minute cardio a day, 1,500 calories. There's not really much room to wiggle. So he's in a great spot. He's still training very well, still strong as an ox, stronger than me on most things, which is what I like to see. So yeah, it's been productive. Really happy and looking forward to the show season.
Really excited. Now we're in that nitty-gritty part of prep where you can really start seeing what you're almost going to look like.
The shape come through.
It's just really getting excited now.
Yeah, he's got the shape, he's got the balance to be very good. It's now just about nailing that condition, but time to dig now, mate.
Yeah.
The dig is on.
That's it.
But yeah, hope you enjoyed that one, guys. We certainly enjoyed it. We had some fun, and we'll be seeing more of Jake in the competitive season as we go on. Yeah, man. Anyone else got any questions or anything? Drop me a message. We'll catch you in the next one.